Hi guys, welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well. So in today's video we are going to look at the step-by-step watercolor book. So first of all, I have to say that I don't know anything about watercolor. I think the last time I watercolored I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, and I had no idea what I was doing. So that's what drew me in about this book, is the fact obviously it's Harry Potter, but it's a step-by-step explanation of how to watercolor, how to start and how to finish it, which is really cool. There are 32 projects in here, so I think by the end of this you should have a big enough knowledge on watercolor to paint basically anything you want. So let's dive into this book. And this is the first page, which is just about the author, and that's that. So these are all kind of images that you are gonna paint later on, or some of them are. You've got your contents page, your introduction, then you have your color chart. So these are all the colors that you're going to use. They say that you should use the Winsor Newton Cotman half pan. If you have the money to buy it, I would say 100%. Winsor Newton is an amazing company, and their colors are amazing. But yeah, they are very expensive. And yeah, I opted for an alternative. I'll show you a bit later in this video. But yeah, there are a lot cheaper pans that you can buy. Obviously they're not going to have all the colors, they're going to have the main ones, so you are going to have to mix your own colors every now and again. But yeah, I have too many hobbies so I would much rather opt for something a bit cheaper and start a new hobby and buy new supplies than buying the best of everything. Obviously if you have the money, then go for it. If you plan on doing a lot of watercolor, that also makes sense. But yeah, so each to their own. But yeah, I'll show you in a bit the colors that I used. Then they give you a supply list, which is really cool. They give you all the brush sizes you're going to need, the round ones and then the flat ones, and also gel pens. Before I bought this book, I really wanted this page because yeah, I would like to know what I have to buy beforehand, especially where I live. I have to order everything, so yeah, it would have been nice if they had the supply list somewhere that's publicly available. I tried looking on Google Books. I did manage to see the color chart, but they didn't have this page, which was a bit of a bummer. So I'm going to put all of this, as well as the colors that you're going to need, in the description down below, so then you guys can just check it out there, so that you can buy the right brushes before or together with the book. So yeah, so that's that. And then we come to the first image. So at the top here, it gives you a difficulty level of 1 lightning bolt. So it starts off very easy with 1 lightning bolt, and I think it ends with 3 lightning bolts, which is difficult. So yeah, it's really nice. I think if you work the book from the first one to the back, I think that's the best way to go. So yeah, here they give you a little quote from the book or the movies, whichever, and then they give you the colors, which is really helpful. I love the fact that they give the colors like this and not just the names. I'll show you in a bit what I did, but yeah, this is very helpful. Then they say the recommended supplies, so it's what size brush and what pen you're going to use. Here at the bottom, they give you a detailed description of the step-by-step. So here are the steps visually, which helps a lot too, because you can kind of see how they build color and wear, especially with the light and the dark, which helps a lot. But this description here is very important. So always double check yourself here, because they give you a lot of information on should you have your first layer dry completely, should it be wet, everything. So yeah, always double check yourself here, and read this very carefully, because it is very helpful. And yeah, you can see basically it's very self-explanatory, it's very easy to follow. So that's the first one. Then we have the birthday cake, which is again difficulty number 1. You've got your colors, your pens, and your description. But with these ones, I think because I would have preferred that they do this with every single one, because as a newbie, I think it is very important that you follow it step by step. So yeah, I think, yeah, it's a bit of a reach thinking that everybody could go on and do the next one perfectly. So yeah, I would have wanted that for every single one. But again, the description basically gives you everything you need to know. And yeah, if you follow the same steps visually that you see here, it's basically the same thing. So yeah, so let's quickly look through all of them. These are the other one. Here we go on to difficulty number 2, and here they give you a visual description again. So yeah, like you can see, it's all exactly the same. Difficulty number 2. Here you can see we are at difficulty level number 3. And yeah, this I love. The fact that first of all, I'm really excited to do this one. I haven't done it yet. But yeah, I love the fact that they give you the image and the description of what you should do at the bottom. Because like with these, you kind of have to go from 1 to 1, 2 to 2 here the whole time, which is, yeah, it takes a lot of time. And yeah, you might look something or you might not see something because of that. So I do like the way that they did it here. This one obviously is a lot more difficult. So those were all the step-by-steps, and now we can go on to the sketches. So like you can see here, the binding is very fragile, and yeah, it's very sad. But in theory, they want you to rip this out. This is watercolor paper, so it is very thick paper. So yeah, they want you to take this out and paint straight onto this image, which I don't really support, because what happens if you want to do it again? Then you don't have this drawing. So yeah, I don't really see the point of that. But yeah, if that's what you want to do, and if you only plan on doing this once, then by all means you can rip it out. I also think I am going to do all of them, and I also think that if you rip all of these out, your whole book, the binding is going to be it's going to be a mess. So yeah, I don't want to do that. But I'm just quickly going to flip through so you can see it's all of them. It's like pencil sketches that's been printed on. So it's just all of them. And yeah, basically that is the whole book. At the back, you just have a description of everything. And yeah, that is the book. So this is the first one that I did, and it turned out pretty okay, I think. I'm pretty happy. There's a lot of improvement that I can still do, but as a first attempt, not too bad. Then because I used a different palette, I didn't have the exact colors. So this is how I double check myself that the colors are right. So you can either do it on the page like this. I did it this way so that I can show you guys. So you can do it on the page, or you can do it on a scrap piece of watercolor paper that you have lying around. But like you can see here, you can double check that the colors that you have are correct. So like this one was way too light. So then I knew I had to add a bit more black or a bit more brown or whatever. So this is a really good way to double check that your colors are right. Obviously, if you have the Winsor Newton palette, then you don't have to worry about that because you already have the colors. So yeah, that's just that. So personally, the size of these are a bit too big for me. I would really like to, at the end, put all of them in my display. And yeah, this is way too big. So what I did is I cheated a bit. I have a scanning app on my phone. So I scanned all the images in, imported them into my computer, and then made them a bit smaller. So I have done it with all of them. Please don't ask me for this file because I'm not going to share it. You have to buy the book because yeah, otherwise you can just get the file and pause the video wherever you want to. So if you want them to be bigger or smaller, this is a very easy way for you to do that. And then you can basically just use any light source from the back. So you can use a window or light box, put your image at the back, your watercolor paper on top, and then you can just quickly redraw it. So yeah, it makes it a lot quicker. So this is the second one I did. This is on an A6 card, and so all of them fit this size, and I think this is a really good size. And yeah, this is how it turned out. Like you can see, the pink, the green, it's not exactly the same because I had to mix these colors, but I'm not too peeved with the difference, to be honest. So yeah, I think it turned out pretty okay. And this is the third one. So again, you can see with the maroon, it's a bit different. And I obviously haven't done the gel pen lining yet. So there, I still have some things to do on this. But yeah, like you can see, I mean, it's not that big of a difference. Obviously, if you have the right paint, it will be exactly the same. But yeah, not too peeved about it. So this is the extra watercolor paper that I bought. The brand name is Canson. I think it's French, and it is a 250 gram paper, A4, and there are 20 sheets in here. Again, it wasn't that expensive. You get really expensive paper, but this is a good quality paper, but not that expensive. So that's that. Then the brushes that I used, the brand name is Pro Art. I have their acrylic brushes. Again, they are super cheap, but yeah, they do the job. I don't have anything really bad to say about them. They are synthetic, and some of the hairs, like this one, you can see the brushes do that a lot. So yeah, you can cut those little hairs every now and again, and you will have to replace your brushes a bit more frequently, but for 83 Rand, that's not too bad. So yeah, so this is the paint that I used. It doesn't necessarily have a brand name, but I'll put all the details that I have about this, I'll put in the description down below. Everything in this video I did buy from Takealot, so I will put links to everything in the description too, so you guys can go and check it out. So if we look at the back, it gives you a list of all the colors that are in here. It's got a total of 48, which, if you can remember, the Winsor Newton one has 45. So I thought going with the 48 is pretty okay. You do get bigger and smaller palettes like this. I think the next one is a 56, and then you get a 72, I think. But yeah, I thought going with the 48 one is pretty okay, because it has all the colors and you can basically mix and match as you go. So yeah, you open it up, it basically looks like this. So like you can see, I have used it already. But yeah, all the colors are really nicely displayed. It looks really beautiful, and there is something really satisfying about a color palette like this. The only thing I can say that I really don't like is the fact that the colors at the back aren't actually in order in here, which is really frustrating, especially because you're working from Winsor Newton colors. They give you the name, so like light green, finding that on here, knowing which one it is, because is that leaf green and that's light green, or is it that one? Or so yeah, that's very frustrating. I think what I am gonna do is I'm gonna paint all of them and see which ones correlate with which ones, and then just swap them so that they are in the right order. So yeah, that's the only thing I can really say about this. Like you saw with the painting that I did, the colors are really bright, and yeah, paint wise, it was easy to paint this. It mixes well, and yeah, really, I can't say anything bad about it. So the one thing I didn't know I was getting in this kit was a water brush. So it's basically a self-watering brush. So you've got a brush side, and then this back unscrews. You pour water in there and you screw it back on. And then every time you need water, like especially on this, you have to wet each stone a bit. So if you need a bit of water, you just give it a light squeeze and you can pick up your color. And as well as when you're painting, if you need a bit more water, you just kind of lightly squeeze it, and it gives you the right amount of water, which makes it really, really easy, especially if you don't have a lot of water on hand. Like if you don't want like 6 or 7 water jars or anything. And I've also seen a lot of people who travel and paint, that they kind of just use these, which is really helpful too. So yeah, and they are fairly expensive. Basically one of these brushes is equivalent to my whole brush set that I bought. So that was a really nice surprise. So guys, that's it for this video. I hope I made it a bit easier for you to decide if you want to buy this book or not. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to ask any question in the comments down below. For those of you that have bought the book or are planning on buying the book, please share your images or your paintings with me on Instagram. I would love to see what you guys do and how yours turns out. And then yeah, I'll be sharing my images as I go on Instagram, so you guys can just go and give me a follow there. So guys, thanks again. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you again soon.